All right, everyone. Good afternoon. This is good evening. This is Dr. Shiva Idre. We're going to be doing a very, very interesting talk today on the pet health series that we started a couple of months ago. And let me talk about what that's going to be about. We're going to talk about MSM, methyl sulfonyl methane. You can get it in the stores as MSM for pet joint health. And this is part of our whole systems approach to pets. I've always had pets my whole life. Many of you may have. But you can apply the systems approach not only to our body, to politics, to a whole bunch of other things, but we can also apply it to pet health. So we're going to cover a very specific ingredient that we've uncovered, MSM. Many of you may know about it. It's good for joint health, but it's also good for pet joint health. And it's one of the ingredients we've put forward in one of our formulations called K9-701, and we'll discuss that too. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And let me, first of all, begin by just sort of jumping right into our PowerPoint that we put together. And it's right here. And let me go right into it here. So we're going to begin by first of all, letting everyone know, the content here is not intended to substitute for professional veterinarian advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You should always seek the advice of your veterinarian and with any questions you may have regarding the medical condition of your pet. But this is part of our pet health series. We started this a couple months ago. We did a number of different components, but this is part of our pet health series. And what we did was we wanted to start looking at ways that we could support a pet's whole health, right? A whole systems approach. And when you come to that systems approach, you realize that it's not any one thing that's a cure-all, but you have to use combinations. So we will also wanted to look at natural compounds. So what we put together was with one of our partners, we realized that zeolite, diatomaceous clay, or earth, spirulina, kelp, MSM, which is what we're going to discuss today, red raspberry leaf, hawthorn leaf and flower, fenugreek, and turmeric, which are really Indian, primarily from the Indian system, and hyaluronic acid. These are very powerful combination of natural compounds. It's basically a food that we put together here. And that we put together in K9-701, but we developed K9-701 by using a scientific systems analysis, which I'll walk you through. But today we're going to talk about MSM, all right? And we're going to focus on how does MSM, methyl sulfonyl methane, from K9-701 affect pet health. MSM is what we're going to cover today. So what is MSM? So those of you, and I really like chemical structures, but there's been quite a bit of research done on this, but people call it an emerging therapeutic molecule. So you have sulfur in the middle, right there, and the SO, the sulfur double bonded to oxygen, is called a sulfonyl group. We also have methyl, CH3, CH4 is methane, and methyl sulfonyl methane, okay? So that's why they call this it. So you have two methyl groups here. Now, it's a naturally occurring organic sulfur compound. It's clinically shown to have symptomatic relief for musculoskeletal discomfort. It exerts its medicinal effects through antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, as we'll walk through. And as of now, it's considered generally recognized as safe. The acronym for that is GRAS, G-R-A-S. So there's no known adverse effects, okay? So that's MSM. That's the chemical structure of it. Where do you get MSM? You can get it in raw milk, tomatoes, alfalfa sprouts, green leafy vegetables or leafy green vegetables, apples, rosemaries, and whole grain. An important thing to understand is there's a lot of work that's been done saying that when we didn't irrigate, when we actually got food in the wild from natural rainfall, rain, in its natural state, rainwater has a lot of MSM. So when we started irrigating, we lost some of that MSM. But anyway, we can do a whole lecture on that. But fundamentally, you have milk, tomatoes, alfalfa sprouts, or green leafy vegetable, apples, raspberries, whole grains. These all are a source of MSM, okay? What are the biological effects of MSM? Anti-inflammatory. It scavenges free radicals. Every chemical reaction in your body or your pet's body will result in free radical creation. It's an antioxidant which eats up those free radicals. It modulates the immune system, and it donates sulfur. Sulfur is probably one of the most important minerals that our body needs, particularly for many, many processes, particularly in the area of skin and hair. But methylation occurs from the donation of sulfur, okay? Here are the other, benefits that have been written about in many of the scientific papers. It preserves cartilage. It improves physical function and a range of motion. It lowers muscle soreness. People take it typically after they work out or before they go to bed. It improves seasonal allergies. That's the immunomodulation property of it. Improves skin quality and texture, and it has anti-cancerous properties. So we wanted to now really focus on the joint health. As pets age, one thing we need to consider is people say, well, I'm just going to feed my dog or animal the diet it would have eaten in the wild, and it's going to have a better life. Well, we have to understand something, that we used to live in the wild. Animals used to live in the wild. And this is a little bit mistaken understanding, because even though we lived in the wild, people didn't live as long, from the data that we have, because we were also under considerable other stressors. The average house cat lives 2 years in the wild. In a home, it can live up to 10 to 12, even longer, right? So it's an interesting question. We live in in this thing called civilization. We can live longer lives. And now the idea is, can you live a long life and have a high quality of life, right? And that's sort of the game that we're trying to play here. So we need to understand that these kinds of nutrients, most animals probably would not get, but MSM has very powerful values in joint health. So let's go to that. So just to let everyone know, we spent about 5 years and we published major research on knee osteoarthritis. And a lot of the human knee research we did, the originating stuff comes from looking at animals, okay? And so this was a huge collaborative effort we did with the University Health Network in Canada. And when you look at this, what you can see is that the human knee has considerable, and I'm going to walk you through this now. I have to go back here. I have to stop sharing this screen, okay? So what we did was we mapped out every molecular pathway in the human knee, and this was done by CytoSolve, okay? Before I go into CytoSolve, let me actually just play you a video which will give you a deeper understanding of what is CytoSolve, okay? Because then you can understand that the technology that I created out of my PhD work at MIT is what we use for everyone to understand what CytoSolve is. So let me bring CytoSolve up here. Here we go.
Who would have ever thought someone like me would invent email and create CytoSolve to revolutionize health for personalized and precision medicine, a system for delivering the right medicine for the right person at the right time? I was born a low-caste untouchable in India's caste system, a system of aristocracy, oppression, and racism. As a child, I observed my grandmother, a poor village farmer, practice Siddha, India's oldest system of medicine, to heal local villagers by observing their face, to know their unique constitution, to deliver a unique combination of foods, healing herbs, and massage. The caste system and her abilities to heal inspired me to understand the interconnectedness of all life. My name is Dr.SHIVA Ayyadurai. I'm an MIT PhD, a Fulbright scholar, a scientist, technologist, and inventor. My family and I left India to come to America on my 7th birthday. As a 14-year-old, I began working as a full-time research fellow at Rutgers Medical School to unravel the mysteries of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, and created the world's first email system long before I ever heard of MIT. As I traverse academia over the next 3 decades, I observe self-serving academics, never solving real problems, writing grant after grant, competing for tenure, while diminishing real science and real scientists, pushing a reductionist science to destroy the scientific method. Like the blind men who never saw the whole elephant, but the parts, they delivered a dismembered view of reality. I observe Big Pharma use such reductionism, wasting billions year after year to fund research in test tubes, killing animals, and using the poor as guinea pigs for clinical testing to create products that even the FDA no longer allowed. Not only Big Pharma practiced this reductionism, but also the elites of Big Vitamin, Big Green, and Big New Age, with gurus and yogis, empowered by Hollywood celebrities, selling one supplement after another based on a cherry-picked science. All that changed in 2003 when the Human Genome Project ended, revealing that humans have the same number of genes, about 20,000, as that of a worm, giving rise to a systems biology. We realized that one-size-fits-all medicine was a failure. We realized their medicines were killing us, making today's generation's lifespan shorter than any previous generation. Obesity, heart disease, deaths from adverse reaction to drugs, confusion on what diet, what supplements, and who to believe is what they have delivered you. They push natural and organic products for your beauty and wellness, while their real solution is their plastic surgeons and Botox. We've been sold out. It's time for real science, a system science that interconnects the parts to discover truth, to know what really works, to get the health we need and deserve. This is why I created Cytosolve. Cytosolve is about truth, freedom, and health versus power, profit, and control. Cytosolve is a revolutionary technology integrating bioinformatics, computational biology, mathematical modeling, decentralization to reveal the truth. Cytosolve computes trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions to discover what actually works based on the actual science. No reductionism, no cherry picking. Cytosolve's predictive modeling has been proven accurate time and time again, matching laboratory results. Cytosolve discovers synergistic combinations of compounds to maximize health and reduce toxicity. For example, we know curcumin from turmeric and resveratrol from red grapes alleviate inflammation, but how much should we combine? Current methods are hand-waving at best. Here, with Cytosolve, we first model the control condition with no curcumin and no resveratrol to simulate high inflammation with the cytokine level at 0.15 micromolar. Next, we add just 5 micromolars of curcumin. The inflammation drops to 0.05. Next, we use 5 micromolars of resveratrol, and the inflammation drops from 0.15 to 0.06. But when we combine curcumin and resveratrol of 3 micromolars of curcumin and 2 micromolars of resveratrol, inflammation drops from 0.15 to 0.03, far lower, nearly 200% less than just one compound alone. That's the synergy principle of system science. We've all had enough of their fake and reductionist science. They think we'll simply keep buying their marketing, their celebrities, and their products that can never truly heal us. We don't need them. Great things come when we integrate the best of things. It's our time. It's time we delivered solutions for ourselves. It's time for truth, freedom, and health. It's time for Cytosolve. Welcome.
All right, that gives you a background into Cytosolve. By the way, we've launched our Cytosolve Open Science Institute, and you can go to vashiva.com. And if you scroll down into this, you'll see we have the Open Science Institute. And we are basically doing research faster, cheaper, and better than the major science institutions. And we want to do open science. So these are all the different areas we're researching. You guys can go here if you want to contribute. We just published a major paper on leukemia, which won one of the big journal awards. So you can directly support research that we're doing. But today we're talking about research in the area of pets, right? Whole systems health for pets. So, and those of you who are joining us new, what we're talking today about is the use of Cytosolve to really understand a very, very powerful ingredient called MSM, methyl sulfonyl methane. So we're going to talk about that and MSM's use for joint health. Okay. So I just wanted to give you that background, the technology we're using here to support this work, to make this work possible, is Cytosolve. So that gives you an understanding of what Cytosolve is. So let's go back. So what we did was we used Cytosolve, and we have a very powerful way, and I'll walk you through this, to actually understand how, let me make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay. Yeah, good. So with Cytosolve, for example, we recently mapped out all the molecular pathways of joint health. in fact, osteoarthritis. So if you see the site here, I can literally go into the site, and we open sourced it for the world. So you see the joints, for example, have the meniscus, subchondral bone. This is the knee, synovial tissue, cartilage, immune cells, fat pad, osteophytes. So if I go to the cartilage right here, the cartilage is made up of, different components, okay? So let me go right here. I actually have to go back here. Go in. Okay, so if I go into cartilage here, you can see the cartilage is composed of something called chondrocytes. Now, chondrocytes are the cells that make up the cartilage, all right? So, and then if you go into chondrocytes, you can see that chondrocytes are a cell type, and they can accept different types of molecules called ligands. And these are the different types of ligands. Again, with cytosol, we went through hundreds of thousands of papers, and we built this entire systems architecture. Cytokines are one type of ligand. IL-1 beta is a very interesting one because it creates all sorts of different inflammatory processes. So IL-1, if you have that operating in your body, it's going to upregulate all these green molecules, and the red ones are the things it's going to suppress. But MMPP13 is not a good molecule because it causes a catabolic effect, which means it starts eating up your cartilage. And here we've mapped out all the different pathways. So from IL-1 beta to create MMPP13, you can look at all of these events that are involved. So for example, here's a paper on ginseng, you see, and you can look at the protective effects of ginseng. So the bottom line is, using cytosol, we've mapped out every molecular pathway at the molecular level. And using this, we can start understanding the effects of different chemicals to stop, let's say, joint destruction. And that's what we've done. Okay. Someone says, can people run? Yes. So we can use cytosol for personalization. So those of you who are interested, you can go to vashiva.com. You can find the Cytosol Research Institute, and you can be part of it. I think 3 weeks from now, in late March, we're going to do a Cytosol Open Symposium for all of you to be part of, because the existing scientific establishment, unfortunately, all they're concerned about is getting grant money because of the way academia is structured, and not that much about really solving problems. With Cytosol, we can leapfrog and we can solve things faster and cheaper. So that's Cytosol, okay? Just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that. But that is the engine that we use to really build our K9-701 product, or to really understand, which is the right way we should go with that. So anyway, so we did a tremendous amount of research on this. And what we uncovered here, let me go back to the PowerPoint, okay, is we uncovered there are multiple mechanisms involved, as you can see, in osteoarthritis or joint health. Inflammation is one of those mechanisms. Oxidative stress, cartilage degeneration, and cartilage regeneration. And these are these molecular pathways, chemical pathways that are involved in inflammation. Same thing with oxidative stress, all these chemical pathways involved in oxidative stress. All these pathways involved in cartilage degeneration. All these pathways involved in cartilage regeneration. So the strategy here is we want to lower inflammation, lower oxidative stress, lower cartilage degeneration, and we want to increase collagen production. So if you want joint health, you want to do all four of these processes. Lowering of inflammation is denoted by PGE2. Lowering of oxidative stress is denoted by reactive oxygen species going down. And lowering of cartilage degeneration is the lowering of MMPP13. And if you want to generate collagen, you need to have more collagen too. So these are what are called biomarkers. So what is the effect of MSM on joint health for your pets in this case? So joint disease comes from oxidative stress and inflammation. These are not good things. And what MSM does, it knocks down oxidative stress and it knocks down inflammation. So it has a left hook and a right hook. So it's pretty cool. The next thing is The way MSM lowers oxidative stress, how does it lower oxidative stress? What it does it, first of all, it upregulates NRF2, which upregulates HO1, which blocks oxidative stress. And MSM also stops NF-kappa beta. This is not a good molecule, which typically would lead to TNF alpha and IL-1 beta, which cause oxidative stress. So MSM blocks NF-kappa beta, which is a good thing, blocking that, but it promotes NRF2, which leads to HO1, which stops oxidative stress. So you can see MSM uses this pathway to block NF-kappa beta, and it uses this pathway to block oxidative stress. All right. So that's how MSM is very powerful at affecting oxidative stress. The other thing is MSM also affects inflammation. The way it does that, as we showed earlier, MSM blocks NF-kappa beta, as you saw here. But in this case, NF-kappa beta, which produces TNF alpha and IL-1 beta, which are inflammatory cytokines, they're blocked. And on top of it, NF-kappa beta also will create COX-2, which leads to PGE2, which causes inflammation and joint disease. Okay? So you can see MSM has this 1-2 punch in two different ways. All right? So when we do a heat map of this, you can see that when it comes to MSM, MSM does not have a big effect on the arachidonic acid pathway, but it has a significant effect on ROS, which is oxidative stress. All right. So when we did our cytosol analysis on this, but it doesn't have an effect on collagen. So MSM is not good for everything, right? So when we put this in K9-701, it's good really for lowering oxidative stress. But we have other things in there, as we'll do in the other series on pet health, that other things can affect these other things. But MSM is really good for lowering oxidative stress. How does this do this? And what we've noticed that when we did our cytosol analysis, we did the experimental conditions where we gave 125 milligrams to 250 milligrams dosages. And you can see here's reactive oxygen species. Under control conditions, it's at 160 nanomolar. And this brings it down almost by nearly 20, brings it down to 160, which is almost, what's that, 40%, okay? So massive lowering of the oxidative stress. But notice that above 125 milligrams over 2 days, so this is day 1 and this is day 2, it has significant effects. But before this, what we noticed was increasing the dose to 250 milligrams did not lower ROS concentration further. So you do really well just with 125 milligrams. More does not mean more effects, right? You got to find the right dosage. The other thing is when we looked at PGE2, right? Notice MSM doesn't have much effect on that. All right. So bottom line is MSM helps joint health by lowering oxidative stress and inflammation. And it's clinically proven to improve joint health, muscle soreness, skin health, and hair growth. And cytosol analysis revealed that at low dose levels, MSM is effective in reducing oxidative stress, only 125 milligrams, substantially, but not inflammation. So MSM has no clinically relevant side effects. We put MSM into K9-701, okay? So K9-701 is a product that we recently developed, just like we did MV25 for humans for joint health. But K9-701 is a whole systems product. It not only affects joint health, but it affects many, many other capabilities. In this case, it's only 1 teaspoon you need for a dog who's around 25 pounds. So, our dogs are about 100 pounds, and we give them 4 teaspoons, all right? But K9-701 has many other uses. It's good for joint health, immune health, metabolic health, bone health, anti-parasitic, brain health, skin health, anti-cancer, and heart health. Those are the components in it. So we just didn't include MSM, but it's got all these amazing food and mineral components. So anyway, I wanted to let you guys know I hadn't forgotten about this. We've been obviously very, very busy with our movement, but we wanted to let you know that we have a very powerful product, K9-701. Oh, where do you get it? Sorry, I'm not good at the sales piece of this to making sure you guys know where to get it. But if you go to vashiva.com. Next time I'll put a link right there. But if you go to vashiva.com, let me show you right here. We'll have a specialty link, but if you go to vashiva.com, which is right here, which is the main site, VASHIV, and you go to the shop, okay? And on the shop, you can see we have a couple of supplements, MV25 and K9-701, and here is K9-701. You can find it right here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put the link for everyone right here, if that helps, okay? So K9-701 is a whole, multi-systems solution. So please go check that out. Those of you who are also interested in the work Cytosolve has done for other areas, we've been very, very careful on how we use Cytosolve. We've helped a lot of other organizations. We use it for research. It's only been in the last year we said, hey, with all these models and analysis we've developed, why don't we start applying it also to help human health? And one of the recent products we created, I'll play you a video on it. It's called MV25. Let me play this to you, and then we'll come back to close.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at Cytosolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the Cytosolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr. Shiva during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids, and I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand, very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is Cytosolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by Cytosolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
One of the things we also need to remember is every, organism, every system is unique. So you have to find the right tool, right medicine for the right person at the right time. What I also want to share with you is this coming March, we're going to be, we're relaunching our Systems Health Educator program. Some of you may know for years, I used to teach a whole course at MIT called Systems Health. And now we've made it accessible to the world. So you can go to systemshealth.com, Systems Health. Let me put it actually in the post as I close here. Just want to make sure we announce this. There's a lot of people are interested in this because MDs, even the veterinarians, all these people don't take a systems approach to the body. But if you click on workshops here, we have a major workshop coming up here on March 29th to 31st. March 29th to 31st. Again, there's a major workshop coming. I'll put the link to that. And the reason I wanted to share this with you, this is an opportunity for all of you to start becoming what we call a systems health educator. We've created essentially a university, and you can do the 3-day intensive. You can get 1 to 2 day passes, but I really urge you to explore all of this. I just put a couple of links here, and the schedule for this is it's a very powerful program. We've had MDs, veterinarians, all different kinds of people go through this program, but it's an integration of Eastern and Western engineering science with Eastern systems of medicine. It really bridges. It's a missing link. And so here's the schedule. You guys can go through this. I'm going to stop sharing this. You guys can go. If you want to, this coming Friday, March 1st, we're doing a tutorial on it. March 1st, we're doing a tutorial. And let me share with you that link. So if you guys want to come to the tutorial, you're welcome to come to it. So 2024, Truth Freedom Health is really, really going to help the world get healthier, understand their body as a system, understand your pets as a system, everything as a system. So get involved, because we've been doing a lot of effort exposing the not so obvious establishment, the fraud that's taking place, and the charlatans. There's enough videos out there, but we now want to offer you solutions from a systems approach. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Again, those of you who are joining new, this is part of our pet health series. We just covered MSM and its effects on joint health, which is part of our K9-701 formulation we just released. So we welcome you all to explore this, learn from it. And that's about it, everyone. Be well, be the light. I hope this was valuable. And I wish you guys all a good night. I just have to find where my outro is. Anyway, be well. Thank you.